own movie. Watch.
I take out the trash. I remove those hard-to-get-at stains. Oh, let's just put it this way. I'm a people person.
Yeah, okay, so it's called Bullet to the Head. That's the name of the movie. And he's pushing gun control. Jamie Weinstein says this is Hollywood hypocrisy at its finest, or maybe even worse. Jamie, go ahead.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, if you have movies glorifying guns and glorifying violence, which I think Sylvester Stallone is the epitome of, you're probably not the best spokesman for gun control. But you see it other places in Hollywood as well. You have a lot of Hollywood stars who themselves have bodyguards or bodyguards to protect their children who often carry guns, speaking out for gun control. So these types of things, I think, often tick off a lot of Americans who are lawful gun rights owners, wondering why people in Hollywood will look down with them at scorn when they themselves are using guns to protect themselves.
All right, are you related to Harvey Weinstein, or the Weinstein brothers?
I'm not.
Okay, so here's the question. These guys raise a lot of money for President Obama, do they not?
They do, yes.
And they also make pretty darn violent films, do they not?
Absolutely.
Would this be considered Hollywood hypocrisy when they're making these very, very violent films, yet they're raising money for a guy who now wants to push back on gun control, or push forward gun control laws?
Well, I think there is an element of hypocrisy. You could argue that they support him for a whole host of different reasons, and he likes their support for a whole host of different reasons. But when they themselves, I think, just personally, it's hypocritical that they are, a lot of them are advocating for strict gun control laws when their bodyguards have guns. There was that famous incident about a decade ago with Rosie O'Donnell, who she was staunchly advocating for gun control, and then you found out that her bodyguard applied for a gun permit.
Sure.
So that is certainly hypocrisy.
I wouldn't even call that hypocrisy. You know, the celebrities are the attention. They're the targets of a lot of crazy people out there. I wouldn't even call that. Here's where it becomes hypocritical for me. When President Obama outlined his four gun law initiatives, and then he outlined some 23 executive orders that he signed. You know how many times he mentioned violence in films? Zero. You know how many times he mentioned violence in video games? One time. Therein lies the hypocrisy for me.
Well, I think actually worse than the hypocrisy itself is kind of the moral superiority a lot of these celebrities have with the issue. It's a serious issue. I think there's a serious debate to be had. But for instance, yesterday, Jim Carrey tweeted that anyone who went out and to buy a gun after the Newtown massacre has no soul or heart worth protecting. Right. So it's that type of language that's not very helpful. And it seems just like someone's out of touch out there, Jamie, looking down and being scornful of others.
We got to leave it there. Jamie Weinstein, Daily Caller. Thank you, sir.